Hi, I'm making a video about Rather Be Haunted. I'm just reading some poetry pieces from it. And yeah, we're just gonna do that at random, pick some. This is my latest poetry collection, published in 2020. Let's see. My Prayers by Valerie Parente, written on September 12th of 2019. My prayers. I worship through art, written word is my prayer. It is my recorded conversations with God, the art I make through my maker. And I am in love and in awe of the world inside the creator, because the mental has spawned when it transcribed to paper. Short and sweet. So my prayers is when I realized, so when people talk about praying, I don't know what the exact definition of praying is. I don't think, because religions are different. So praying to a Christian might be like doing this and talking to God. Praying is probably different for another religion, I would think. Maybe not. I don't know the exact definition. But I was thinking of how I don't pray. I don't really sit down and talk to God. But then I realized, no, I do. It's just not in the conventional way that I'm thinking in my head, that I've been conditioned to think praying is. When I write, when I listen to the inner voice in my head, when I talk to that voice in my head, I think that's literally praying. At least for me, that exercise, I believe, achieves the exact same sensations and benefits that praying does in any conventional religion. So by writing, by making art, by being one with myself, by talking to the universe like it's listening, just really being in my own head in a healthy way, in a creative way, in a way that I don't feel like I'm alone. I do feel like there is a third party that hears what I'm thinking. That is literally praying. To me, it is. Maybe if you Google the definition of praying, this doesn't fall under that, but that to me is literally my form of praying, you know? So I simply called it my prayers and just explained that worshiping through art and written word is my prayer. It's my recorded conversations from God. Yeah, that's what it is. When I write, like I said, I never fully feel alone in my own head or when I write. I truly, truly feel that there is a soul outside of my own that witnesses what I think and experience. And I don't know what that is. You can go back to the metaphor of a ghost with Rather Be Haunted and say, oh, well, maybe that's the ghosts that haunt you or whatever. Maybe that's what that feeling comes from. Or maybe it's a guardian angel, or maybe it is God, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, I don't feel like I'm fully alone ever. And when I write, even if nobody reads it, like I see on my blog, got no views, I still feel that it was seen. And I don't know how to describe the thing that does the seeing, but I do feel that I am being witnessed when I create art, even if I know objectively that nobody physically looked at it. Putting it out there in the universe, creating, writing down the thoughts that I have in my head, it feels so much like the universe as a whole witnesses it, and it is on the same wavelength as me. I'm not alone. So writing is very much my form of prayer. And that was a realization I came to in September of 2019. Let's see. A lot of this is really personal, and I'm not in the mood to get too into it right now. So I'm just being a little picky about what I choose. All right, so this poem is called This Is What It Means to Grow Up by Valerie Parente. I shouldn't pick fights just because I feel lost. I shouldn't place blame when no one is at fault. People might do you wrong, but just smile on. No one cares who's right in the big scheme of it all. You may be frustrated, but the petty things won't last. At the same rate, good times fade, and I really hate that. What better reason to appreciate the things that you have, because no pain equates to the concept of the past. I always say I'm sick of games and the tears, but I'd rather have it rough than resent all those years. because one of these days, one of us isn't going to be here, and all that will be left is how we made each other feel. So this poem is called This Is What It Means to Grow Up, because it's really about letting go of the petty things in life, and when someone does you wrong, forgiving, getting over it, moving on. It feels like a big deal sometimes, but as time passes, you realize these petty arguments, disagreements, fights, doesn't matter in the big scheme of things. It really doesn't. So if I'm going to dissect specific lines here, okay, this is something that I've realized in life, and death has made me realize this. You may be frustrated, but the petty things won't last. At the same rate, good times fade, and I really hate that. What better reason to appreciate the things that you have, because no pain equates to the concept of the past. I have came up with this is my own little personal theory that I've come to in life, and it's that the root of all your pain, honestly, like I really think it summarizes the root of all pain, comes from the whole concept of the past, that things go away. Death exists. Things will not, people do not live forever. This whole concept of you used to be around and we had these good times and now you're gone. The whole experience of loss would never exist if past did not exist, if this linear timeline of past, present, future didn't exist. And the entire, even the good things in your life, the good things that make you happy, they don't last. They will never last. They will always change. The world is always changing. Good things are always going to come to an end. And I really hate that. And I think that is all tied together with, well, if past didn't exist, then no pain would exist. Seriously, think about it. Think of any pain you're in and think of it in the terms of, if past didn't exist, that wouldn't be a problem. Death, when people die, that, missing someone, that's completely based on the past. If you get in a fight with someone and you guys aren't talking anymore and you were once so close, the past is the reason why it's so painful, because you did have those good times and it's gone now. I really can't think of anything else. Those are the specific ones that catalyze that, but I can't think of anything in this world that isn't tied to the pain of realizing that life is constantly changing and it's always fleeting. Everything's always falling into the past. Always. You can't change that. That's just what this world is. That's this dimension that we're in. And the dimension we're in is full of pain because of the way time operates, because there's a past, present, and future. And I do really think in the end, when you're gone off this world and you're in a world, heaven, be that what you may think, I just think it's going up to you're just upgrading to a dimension that does not have time, past, present, and future. And that's why it's nothing but endless peace. Really, the reason you can't be in peace right now is because of the linear way time flows. I really think that, when someone dies and you feel upset for them, just know that they're not in a world where they're upset. It's just endless peace. They're not missing anything. You are missing them because you have this concept of past and what's gone on and blah, blah, blah. And you can't separate your mind from that because that's just how we make sense of this world. Time is like the sixth sense. It's just how we perceive things. But the dead aren't sad about it. And obviously, I'm saying my beliefs. I'm not saying this as I know for a fact. I know sometimes my sister gets annoyed at me because I talk about my spiritual beliefs as if it's a fact. And she's like, well, you don't know that. Why are you talking? For certain that this is what the afterlife is or what the meaning of life is or blah, blah, blah. And that's just how I have to live my life to function. Maybe partly it's a little artistic to think in those ways, to be so spiritual in those ways and identify with it. But yeah, that's what that poem is really pointing at. No, I'm not going to read that. Okay, we're going to read Paw Prints. And it's about losing a pet. Paw Prints. I'm not devastated like I always expected. I'm better today than I was when she was still here in pain. I truly believe that she is not gone, but has simply moved on. So why is there still a sense of pain imprinted in my brain? I did everything right. I said hi and goodbye and good night. I showered her with praise and I said I love you every day. I created a childhood of her own and made the most of every milestone. I always gazed at that little girl knowing that she wouldn't be around forever, and I cherished every memory that I made with her. I did everything I was supposed to do. So why do I feel pain when I see her paw prints? Why do I feel pain when I see her fur around the house? Why do I feel pain when I go to say goodnight and she's not there? Maybe because all these things signify the past, since she has passed. But she does not feel like a memory. I still feel her with me deep inside, just as much as I did when she was alive. This was written only a few weeks after my dog Abby passed. So September 2nd. I believe she passed on August 24th. Pretty sure that was the day. Oh, yeah, pretty sure that was the day. This is like, the poems in here about Abby are really painful. And anyone who's lost a pet, I feel like, especially a dog, because just the way they're your companion and everything, anyone who's lost a pet knows that pain and knows it is like nothing else. Losing a human doesn't even feel like this. The loss of a pet is so devastating. And what I was exploring with this was why, right when Abby passed, she was put down because she was suffering. She couldn't breathe anymore and she had a tumor like this big, huge. We didn't know. When she passed, all I wanted, or I'm sorry, before she passed, when she was suffering, when she was dying, when she couldn't breathe and she couldn't move anymore, she was lying down, all I wanted was for her to pass and just be at peace and not be in pain anymore. I just wanted that. And when it happened, I wasn't devastated like I thought I would be. And that's the first line. I'm not devastated like I always expected. I'm better today than I was when she was still here in pain. I have another poem in here called Lexi about my cat. And basically the line is, it's not the dying. I mean, it's not the death that's painful. It's the dying. When they go, when the death happens, it's a huge sigh of relief. When the dying is happening, when they're in the process of the life coming out of them and they're suffering, that's the worst thing I think anyone will ever witness in the world. That is the worst. It is so freaking sad. It is so painful. And that whole point of the dying is worse than the death is brought up initially in this poem of, I knew that. I knew when she died that I was happy and relieved. I'm so happy that she was out of pain. I felt like I could breathe again. It was so much better knowing that she was done suffering and her life was all wrapped up and it was great. It was a great life. Now she can just be at peace. That was great. So I was doing great mentally. I think I was doing better than anyone else in my family. I was really happy to have had her and so relieved. And then in like a week, the vet delivered I'm gonna start crying. The vet delivered the card. Wow, I didn't think I was gonna get emotional when I'm alone. Usually I only get emotional if somebody else, like my family, is here. They delivered the card that had her paw prints on it, where they printed her paw prints right after she died, before they cremated her. And when they brought the card, oh my God, get it together. When they brought the card and I saw her paw prints on our island, that just brought the pain so heavily. And I was doing so great. And I didn't know why when I see the paw prints, why when I'm seeing the paw prints is it so fucking hard? Why did that do that? And that goes into what I just talked about in the other poem of, it signifies the past. Since she has passed, you forget about those little things, like just what her paws look like. And then suddenly you remember, oh, she was alive at one point, because you get used to, after a couple of days, like this being is gone. And the paw prints signified the past, and it just, oh my god, it just made you think of her physical form and how it's gone forever. And that's such a sad thought. You know, death isn't so sad when you think of it based on the level of soul, because I really do think it's hard to argue, because energy never dies. That's just what physics tells us. It's really hard to argue that she's gone. It's just in a different form. But when you think of the physical aspect of the material world, like, yeah, her body is gone. And seeing the paw prints that are gone and never going to be printed again, oh my god, was that freaking sad. And it was frustrating, and that's why I say I don't understand, because I did everything right. Since the day we got Abby when she was a puppy, I knew, because I fell in love with her the second I saw her, I knew this is going to be the worst pain of my life when she's gone. Even before I experienced any memories with her, just the second I saw her, I knew it. And this poem was really written out of frustration and confusion of, why am I so sad when I know I did everything right? I literally every night for the 13 years of her life, I said, good night, Abby, I love you, and then I went to bed. When I wasn't home for a night, I texted my mom and told her to tell Abby good night. If I was in my room before and I just stayed in bed and didn't go back downstairs to say good night, I told my sister, tell Abby good night and I love her. I made a point to do these things so that I literally was thinking ahead of, I'm going to regret it when she goes if I don't make it known how much I love this little girl. So it was so frustrating. I always gazed at this little girl knowing that she wouldn't be around forever, and I cherished every memory that I had with her. I did everything I was supposed to do. So why do I feel pain when I see her paw prints? I really talked about that already, but that's like, I really feel the frustration in these words, just like it happened yesterday. And that's why I got emotional. I didn't think I was going to get emotional. And of course, we got to have a silver lining at the end. It's got to be positive. Got to find the beauty in darkness. I still feel her with me deep inside, just as much as I did when she was alive. So I think that pain comes from the dissonance of, it doesn't make sense that she's gone, because I know her, I remember her, I feel her. It's frustrating. The pain is there because it's so frustrating. I still feel her, but she's not here and I can't talk to her. What is this? What is this world that we were put on? Why would God do this? Why is this how the world works? So I still feel her deep inside just as much as when she was alive. Though it's the source of the pain, it's so beautiful that you can still feel them deep in, a pet or a lost loved one, that you can still feel them. That frustration of, why can't I talk to them when I still have them in here, in my heart? That's just proof that they're still with you just as much as they were when they were alive. I really think that's God telling you that. I really, really believe that's his way of telling you they're still with you. That feeling, that frustration you have of they still feel here just as much as when they were alive, that's because it's true. That's because you know at the level of your soul, and it contradicts the physical world, you know at the level of your soul that they are still with you. They're in your heart. And I really think when you see those cliche sayings where they're like, they may have passed, but they'll always live in your heart. They'll live in your memory. They're never really gone. They're always with you. Emotional. I really think that's because of the frustration of knowing they still feel like they're here just as much as when they were alive. And those paw prints really made me think about that. Okay, I'm gonna stop because I can't. That is a perfect example of why Rather Be Haunted is called Rather Be Haunted, and it's so emotional. And I was so hesitant to publish it because this is the most personal thing I've ever written. And like it says on the back, love, heartache, death, what makes us human hurts, that is the gift of the universe. I'm crying and I'm upset now. I'm not upset, I'm in pain, but it's okay. The heartache is okay. The love and the death, that's okay, because that's what makes you human. That's part of this whole experience that we have. That's the way the universe and God has gifted us with some kind of awareness in this world. And I'm lucky enough that I get to put it in writing, and hopefully people read it and hear it. So that's all for now. I'm just going to leave it at that. Thank you for listening. And you can buy it on Amazon.